cold exacts a heavy toll.
Eso lo mató!
No, con it. It's too strong. This is the only way. Control it. I'm aware of the customs.
Who's this?
Yeah, this may depend on it. Got it.
All this for a child.
Do not dare attempt calling yourself a witch conjuring creatures to...
Was mercy. Get out of my way. I hope you understand. Being.
Nail it. She's trying to get in their heads.
The reflections. Cover them.
You gave all. You saved me.
You destroy the book.
No. Are the Sorcerer Supreme, not you. A copy.
It's there the Darkhold was transcribed. Survive the journey. They take us so far.
Ago, the first demon spells were later transcribed.
been waiting for me. Throne.
Even though you can't be with the ones you love.
Now!
Ultron commands you to halt.
To give orders.
Haven't you had enough?
And you just cast your vote. Never bothered you before. You hated me here. You must give with.
You know nothing of this
Dream to joining a little circus of
my vote. Now. I think I'm beginning.
Go, go.
I warned you. Did you kill her?
Darkhold exacts a heavy tone.
Here's the deal. I'll let. Yeah. I don't think she. Hang on, we're coming.
What are you doing with the Darkhold?
Souls of the damned.
Okay, but
Who said they had to be living?
This is the eternal consequence. Hang on.
guns. They're spirit. Use them.
I'll give you what you want.
Tommy, it's okay. It's okay. I'm your mother. No, stop, please. We have to go now.
I have to be tempted by the dark cult again.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the chaotic, mind-bending adventure that is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We kick things off not in our familiar MCU, but in a totally different, rather bleak-looking dimension, where a variant of Doctor Strange, appropriately named Defender Strange, is desperately trying to protect a young girl, America Chavez. She's got this incredibly cool, incredibly dangerous power to punch holes into other universes, and apparently, everyone and their multiversal dog wants a piece of it. Unfortunately for Defender Strange, his valiant efforts don't quite cut it. He tries a drastic, morally questionable move to siphon America's powers, which, to no one's surprise, backfires spectacularly. He gets himself impaled by a one-eyed demon and, with his dying breath, pushes America through a portal, sacrificing himself in a surprisingly gory opening act. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep the action coming. Back in our good ol' Earth 616, our Doctor Strange wakes up from this wild dream, probably wishing he'd had something a little less stabby. He then dons a suit, which is almost as rare as seeing him without a cape, to attend the wedding of his former flame, Christine Palmer. Talk about awkward, right? The air practically crackles with unspoken history and regret as he watches her exchange vows with another man. It's a poignant moment, showcasing that even a master of the mystic arts, someone who's literally saved the universe, can't always get the girl. He makes a heartfelt, albeit a little sad, speech about love being enough, and how sometimes you have to be the one holding the knife. Metaphorically, of course. For a moment, it feels like a rom-com, if rom-coms included brooding sorcerers and the subtle sting of what-ifs. The clinking of champagne glasses almost drowns out the existential dread. But not quite, just when Strange is getting into his wedding cake, or at least processing his emotional baggage. The universe decides, nope, no rest for the wicked, or the sorcerers. A giant, squishy, one-eyed beast with a whole lot of tentacles, later identified as Gargantos, starts wreaking absolute havoc in the streets of New York. Buildings crumble, cars get tossed around like toys, and the screams of the city are pretty much the antitheses of wedding bells. Luckily, Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme, Wong, who is surprisingly spry for someone who mostly sits on a magic throne, quickly spring into action. They use their impressive array of spells, slinging energy blasts and conjuring shields, doing their best to contain the fleshy, multi-limbed menace. It's a classic superhero brawl, complete with property damage that will probably take decades to clean up. You'd think after Thanos, New Yorkers would just get used to these giant creature attacks, but apparently, they still have some fight left in them during the monster-mashing chaos. Strange notices a familiar face, or at least a familiar outfit. It's the very same America Chavez from his dream. Turns out she's not just a figment of his subconscious, but a very real, very terrified teenager. She's the target of this slimy, interdimensional assailant, and Strange, ever the hero despite his relationship woes, swoops in to save her from Gargantos' grotesque grasp. Once the monster is dispatched, with a particularly nasty street lamp decapitation, if I recall, America finally gets to explain her situation. She's being hunted across the multiverse because she possesses the unique power to travel between parallel universes. Apparently, she's the only one, and there's no map or GPS for this particular superpower, just a whole lot of uncontrolled accidental dimension hopping. Her explanation is delivered with the frantic energy of someone who's constantly on the run, and frankly, who can blame her? Imagine if your superpower was basically a random teleporter that only worked when you were scared out of your wits. With America's dire predicament laid out, Strange does the sensible thing. He consults with the most powerful magic user he knows, Wanda Maximoff. He travels to her seemingly idyllic orchard, where she's living out her days in a picturesque farmhouse, looking like she just stepped out of a cottagecore Pinterest board. Wanda greets him warmly, playing the part of the grieving, but ultimately peaceful, former Avenger. Strange, bless his oblivious heart, initially thinks she's the perfect person to help protect America to understand the multiverse, perhaps even offering some advice on dealing with unruly magic. He tries to subtly bring up the demon and the interdimensional threats, all while Wanda prunes her flowers with an almost too calm demeanor. It's a masterclass in dramatic irony, as the audience knows exactly where this is going. But Strange is still operating under the assumption that Wanda is just, Wanda and not the universe-hopping, child-obsessed villain she's secretly become. The bliss of ignorance. The polite pleasantries don't last long, because Wanda, bless her honest heart, quickly drops the charming farm girl act. Her face contorts, her eyes glow with that familiar crimson energy, and she chillingly reveals that she's not only aware of America's plight, but is actually the one orchestrating the attacks. Cue the dramatic music, folks, because the Scarlet Witch is back, and she's not here for a tea party. She confesses her dark obsession. She wants America's unique power to open portals to other universes. Her goal? To find a reality where her magically created children, Billy and Tommy, truly exist, and then, presumably, just take them. It's a truly heartbreaking villain motivation, born from the deepest grief and twisted by the corrupting influence of the Darkhold. Strange is understandably horrified. The air itself feels thick with tension as the reality of the situation settles. His friend has become a formidable foe, driven by a desire so profound it threatens the very fabric of existence. The clink of a snapped twig underfoot seems deafening in the suddenly silent orchard. Before Strange can even process the betrayal, Wanda unleashes her full power. The idyllic orchard vanishes, replaced by the grim reality of her intentions. She launches a full-scale assault on Kamar Taj, the mystical stronghold where America has sought refuge. Her crimson magic, pulsing with raw, unrestrained power, tears through the ancient defenses of the sanctuary like it's made of tissue paper. Sorcerers, who minutes ago were probably having a quiet cup of tea, are now scrambling, desperately trying to erect shields and counter spells against the overwhelming force of the Scarlet Witch. The air is thick with the crackle of energy, the shouts of the defenders, and the thud of impact as magical barriers shatter. It's a stark reminder that Wanda isn't just powerful. She's a force of nature, driven by an unyielding desire, and absolutely nothing, not even the combined might of the masters of the mystic arts, seems capable of stopping her. Honestly, it makes you wonder why they didn't just put up a no demonic dream-walking sign inside Kamar Taj. The battle rages. Wong, ever the stoic leader, rallies the sorcerers, deploying every defensive spell and offensive maneuver they know. They conjure massive magical whips, hurl fiery projectiles, and even summon elemental spirits to try and push back Wanda's relentless assault. It's a truly magnificent display of mystical combat, but it's also clear they're outmatched. Wanda moves with a terrifying grace, deflecting spells, manifesting illusions, and telekinetically tossing sorcerers around like rag dolls. Strange, caught between trying to protect America and fighting off his former friend, is forced to use more aggressive tactics. But even his formidable powers seem to barely faze the Scarlet Witch. The clang of metal on metal from ancient weaponry mixes with the whoosh of magic, creating a cacophony of desperation. It's less a fight and more a desperate struggle for survival, highlighting just how far Wanda has fallen and how terrifying a grieving, all-powerful which can be dot as Wanda corners America. The pressure, the fear, and the sheer terror of being hunted push America's dormant powers to their breaking point. In a sudden, explosive burst of star-shaped energy, she accidentally opens a portal, not just to another dimension, but to an entirely different universe. This isn't your grandma's sling ring. This is a full-on, uncontrolled leap into the unknown. America, along with a rather unwilling Strange who gets swept along for the ride, is sucked into a kaleidoscopic maelstrom of colors and strange, fleeting realities. We get a dizzying montage of universes, each one more bizarre than the last, a cartoon world, a paint splatter world, even a world made of pure, sentient cubes. It's a sensory overload, a whirlwind tour of what if. Scenarios playing out at hyperspeed. Strange, probably clutching his stomach, is now truly After that rather nauseating ride, Strange and America land with a thud on what appears to be a pristine, technologically advanced version of New York City. Think flying cars, sleek skyscrapers, and absolutely no litter. It's visually stunning, like something out of a futuristic dream. But there's a catch. It's utterly deserted, eerily quiet. Where are all the people? The silence is almost deafening, a stark contrast to the cacophony of their home universe. Strange, ever the pragmatist, quickly deduces they've landed in Earth 838, a universe where everything seems just a little bit nicer, or at least cleaner. He takes a moment to patch himself up with some quick magic. America's still reeling from the sudden shift in realities. It's a moment of quiet before the storm, allowing the audience to take in the sheer visual splendor of this new world, and to ponder the implications of a New York without its usual hustle and bustle. Personally, I'd kill for a New York where I didn't have to dodge rogue hot dog stands. But I digress. As they cautiously explore this eerily quiet utopia, Strange and America run into a familiar, yet different, face. Carl Mordo, but this isn't our Mordo. The one who decided magic was a bad idea and wanted to cull the sorcerers. This Earth 838 Mordo is dapper, articulate, and the sorcerer supreme of his dimension. He greets Strange with a surprisingly cordial, almost warm, demeanor. For a moment, it feels like an unexpected reunion, a chance for Strange to perhaps get some answers and even some help. But you can practically hear the too good to be true alarm bells ringing. Despite his politeness, there's a subtle glint of suspicion in Mordo's eyes, a keen analytical gaze that suggests he's not just a friendly face. The conversation is polite but tense, a verbal chess match where both sorcerers are trying to gauge the other's intentions. It's a nice change of pace from getting instantly attacked, but the underlying threat is still very much present. Like a lohum you can't quite shake. Meanwhile, back in Earth 616, Wanda isn't exactly kicking back with a cup of cocoa. Armed with the terrifying, mind-corrupting Darkhold, she's decided to take a more direct approach to her interdimensional hunt. She performs a forbidden spell, known as dreamwalking, to possess the body of her Earth 838 counterpart. Imagine waking up in your own house, in your own bed, only to find you're not quite yourself anymore, that another version of you is piloting your body. That's exactly what happens to poor 838 Wanda, who, by all accounts, is living a perfectly normal, happy, suburban life with her two kids. Her eyes snap open, glowing with that unmistakable Scarlet energy, and suddenly, the sweet, unassuming soccer mom is replaced by the relentless, vengeful Scarlet Witch. It's a chilling display of Wanda's unchecked power and moral decline, showing just how far she's willing to go to get what she wants, no matter whose life she has to hijack in the process. Talk about a rude awakening. Strange and America, still trying to get their bearings in this bizarre new world, find themselves exploring the 838 version of the Sanctum Sanctorum. It's familiar, yet subtly different, and just when they think they might finally get some answers, the floor drops out from under them. No, literally, energy traps spring from the ground, immobilizing Strange with glowing magical binds and capturing America. It's a swift, precise ambush executed by a formidable, unseen security force. Turns out Mordo's friendly demeanor was just a cover. He led them right into a trap. Strange is furious, realizing he's been duped by a variant of his former friend, a Mordo who, it turns out, really dislikes him in every universe. The clanging of their restraints is a sharp, metallic punctuation to their unfortunate predicament. They're taken by these mysterious figures, destined for a rather intimidating tribunal. So much for a warm multiversal welcome, huh? This is less welcome to our universe and more welcome to our holding cell. Strange is brought before a rather impressive, and frankly, intimidating, Council of Heroes. This is Earth 838's Illuminati, a secret society of the most powerful individuals in their universe, basically the who's who of cosmic heavy hitters. We're talking Captain Carter, a super soldier variant of Peggy Carter, armed with her vibranium shield. Black Bolt, whose whisper can shatter mountains. Maria Rambeau as Captain Marvel, radiating cosmic power. Reed Richards, the leader of the Fantastic Four. And, of course, Professor Charles Xavier, floating in on his iconic yellow hover chair, ready to delve into Strange's mind. And then there's Mordo, smugly sitting among them. Each introduction is a fun little fan service moment, punctuated by the gravitas of their presence. They are here to judge Strange, to determine if he's a threat to their reality. The air in the chamber is thick with power and judgment, and Strange, for once, seems a little out of his depth. It's like being called into the principal's office, but the principal can literally explode you with a thought. The Illuminati laid down the law, explaining to our Strange exactly why they're so suspicious of him. Turns out, their universe's Doctor Strange was a bit of a loose cannon, going full Darkhold emo mode and causing an incursion, basically a multiversal collision that destroyed an entire universe. Ouch. So, to prevent further cosmic catastrophes, the Illuminati made the tough, but apparently necessary, decision to execute their own Strange. Yes, you heard that right, they opt their very own Sorcerer Supreme. They warn our Strange that his Darkhold dabbling is putting him on a similar path. It's a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and forbidden's magic, and a stark warning of what could happen if our Strange isn't careful. The gravity of their words hangs heavy in the air, a silent judgment reverberating through the chamber. Strange, for once, is speechless, probably realizing that sacrificing yourself isn't always the end of the story, and sometimes it's just the beginning of a multiversal murder rap. Just as the Illuminati finish their rather stern lecture, the building itself seems to groan in protest. The serene ambience is shattered as Wanda, possessing her 838 counterpart, bursts into the chamber. She's no longer the polite suburban mom. She's the full-on, terrifying Scarlet Witch, fueled by dark magic and an unyielding desire for America Chavez. Her eyes glow with a malevolent red, and her entrance is less a walk-in and more an explosion. She immediately confronts the Illuminati, who, for all their power, seem genuinely surprised by her sudden, violent appearance. The air crackles with her menacing energy, a palpable wave of pure, unadulterated rage. The Illuminati, who just moments ago were coolly sentencing Strange, now find themselves facing a much bigger problem, one that doesn't care about their secret council or their fancy titles. It's almost a little satisfying to see their smug faces drop, isn't it? Karma, but make it multiversal and magical. The Scarlet Witch wastes no time in demonstrating why she's the most dangerous woman in the multiverse. Black Bolt, hoping to end the confrontation quickly, prepares to unleash his devastating sonic scream. But Wonder, with a chillingly casual gesture, seals his mouth shut. He tries to speak, to roar, but with no outlet for his power, his own head implodes in a horrifying, visceral explosion of blood and bone. The crack of his skull shattering reverberates through the stunned chamber, a brutal reminder of Wanda's raw power and her absolute lack of mercy. It's a truly shocking moment, even for seasoned superhero movie watchers, as one of the most powerful beings in the room is dispatched with such terrifying efficiency. The silence that follows is deafening, punctuated only by the stunned gasps of the remaining Illuminati. Yeah, don't mess with a magic mom on a mission. Wanda, completely unfazed by her previous act of graphic violence, continues her rampage. Reed Richards, ever the intelligent one, tries to engage her with reason, explaining the dangers of an incursion. But Wanda isn't interested in a debate. With a flick of her wrist, she uses her magic to stretch his elastic body into a horrifying, elongated mess, tearing him apart piece by agonizing piece. The sound of his stretched limbs tearing is sickeningly vivid. Next up is Captain Marvel, who courageously blasts Wanda with her cosmic energy. But even her immense power isn't enough. Wanda simply swats her away, bringing down a massive, crumbling statue to crush her under tons of debris. It's a shocking display of how easily she dispatches these supposedly insurmountable heroes, one after another. The sounds of concrete crumbling and flesh tearing create a symphony of destruction, leaving no doubt about the sheer magnitude of her threat. You've got to wonder if this universe's heroes had a bad day emergency protocol. With only a few members of the Illuminati left, Captain Carter, true to her super soldier spirit, charges into battle. Her vibranium shield, a beacon of hope, whirls through the air as she engages Wanda in a fierce, albeit brief, hand-to-hand and magic combat. She's quick, agile, and incredibly strong, landing a few solid blows that would floor anyone else. But Wanda, with her reality-altering powers, is on an entirely different level. In a truly brutal twist, Wanda uses her telekinesis to turn Captain Carter's own shield against her. The iconic vibranium disc, once a symbol of protection, becomes a weapon of destruction, slicing Captain Carter in half with a sickening thud. The sudden silence that follows is even more impactful than the violence, as a beloved hero is summarily dispatched. It's a gut-wrenching moment, reinforcing the idea that in the multiverse of madness, no one is truly safe, and even the most iconic symbols of heroism can be twisted into tools of despair. And just like that, another hero bites the dust, or rather, the vibranium with the physical threat mostly neutralized. Professor X, the venerable telepath, makes a desperate last attempt to save Wanda, not by fighting her physically, but by entering her mind. He projects himself into her consciousness, where he finds the real 838 Wanda trapped within her idyllic suburban home. Terrified and controlled by the Scarlet Witch, Professor X, with his signature calming voice, tries to reason with the trapped Wanda to break the hold of the Darkhold. It's a poignant, hopeful moment, a last-ditch effort for peace. But the Scarlet Witch, even within her own mind, is too powerful, too corrupted. She senses his intrusion and, with a terrifying display of psychic might, twists Professor X's neck within the mental plane, effectively killing him in the real world. The crack of his neck in the mental landscape is echoed by the physical impact of his lifeless body falling from his hover chair. It's a truly chilling end to a legendary hero, proving that even the most powerful minds are no match for a grief-maddened Scarlet, which wielding Forbidden's magic. Talk about a bad trip. With the Illuminati utterly decimated and Wanda tearing the place apart, Strange and America realize they need to get out, and fast. Luckily, they stumble upon Christine Palmer, not our Christine, but her Earth 838 variant, who happens to be a scientist working at the Illuminati facility. Strange, ever the charmer, quickly explains the dire situation and, surprisingly, convinces her to help them. They navigate the crumbling corridors, dodging debris and Wanda's lingering magical blasts, a chaotic escape through a once orderly building. The sounds of destruction are all around them, the groaning of collapsing concrete, the shriek of twisted metal, and the distant, menacing hum of Wanda's power. Christine, initially bewildered, quickly adapts, using her knowledge of the facility to guide them. It's a moment of desperate teamwork, showcasing Strange's ability to improvise and Christine's surprising resilience in the face of multiversal madness. And just like that, Strange finds himself on the run with yet another version of the woman he can't quite get over. Christine leads Strange and America to a hidden location within the Illuminati compound, a mystical vault containing the Book of Vishanti. This isn't just any book. It's basically the antithesis of the Darkhold, filled with pure, benevolent magic and counter spells. It's their best and perhaps only hope of stopping Wanda. The chamber itself is ancient and grand, bathed in an ethereal glow, contrasting sharply with the destructive chaos they just escaped. Strange, with a glimmer of hope in his eyes, realizes that this book could give them the edge they desperately need. Christine looks on, a mixture of awe and trepidation on her face, finally understanding the sheer scale of the magical conflict they are embroiled in. The quiet hum of the ancient magic within the book is almost a melody of hope, a stark contrast to the cacophony of fear that has followed them. It's a classic MacGuffin moment, but a crucial one, promising a glimmer of light in the overwhelming darkness of Wanda's pursuit. What could possibly go wrong now, right? Just as Strange reaches for the Book of Vishanti, hope blooming in his chest, a terrifying red glow engulfs the chamber. Wanda, having caught up to them, bursts in with a furious roar. She's faster, more determined, and absolutely relentless. With a single, brutal move, she snatches America Chavez from the group, her grip unyielding. Then, without a moment's hesitation, she unleashes a torrent of crimson magic, obliterating the ancient Book of Vishanti in a burst of fiery energy. The fragile hope they had just found is extinguished in an instant, leaving them utterly defenseless. The sound of the book's pages burning to ash is a gut punch, a complete reversal of their fortunes. Strange is left stunned, witnessing America being dragged away, realizing that every plan he makes seems to crumble under Wanda's overwhelming power. It's a crushing defeat, leaving our heroes at rock bottom, stripped of their last real weapon. Well, that escalated quickly, didn't it? With America captured and the Book of Vishanti destroyed, Strange, ever the quick thinker, makes a split-second decision. He grabs Christine Palmer, the 838 variant, mind you, and using the lingering magical residue from America's recent jump, yanks them both through a newly opened portal. It's a desperate, uncontrolled leap into the unknown, a last-ditch effort to escape Wanda's clutches. They hurtle through a swirling, chaotic void, a dizzying rush of distorted light and sound, before landing with a rather ungraceful thud. They find themselves in a truly desolate universe, a world that seems to be literally falling apart, filled with floating islands of debris and shattered remnants of what once was. The air is thick with dust and a pervasive sense of decay. The silence here isn't eerie. It's a heavy, oppressive blanket. It's clear this universe has seen better days, probably even worse than Strange's own internal monologue after a bad breakup. This is a truly broken place, and they're stranded within its ruins. As they explore this desolate, crumbling universe, Strange and Christine stumble upon a chilling sight, a dilapidated, decaying version of the Sanctum Sanctorum. It's a ghostly echo of Strange's own home, but covered in dust, cobwebs, and an overwhelming sense of abandonment. Clearly, this universe's master of the mystic arts wasn't doing too hot, or perhaps wasn't there at all anymore. The air is thick with the smell of decay and forgotten magic, the silence broken only by the creak of old wood and the whisper of the wind through broken windows. They discover that this universe was destroyed by an incursion, just like the Illuminati warned about, and it was caused by this universe's Doctor Strange himself. Talk about a rough neighborhood. It's a stark, visual representation of the path our Strange could follow. He continues to dabble with dark magic, a haunting vision of his own potential downfall. The feeling is less adventure and more existential dread, which, let's be honest, is pretty on brand for Doctor Strange. Inside the desolate sanctum, Strange finally confronts the architect of this universe's destruction, Sinister Strange, a zombified, evil variant of himself. This guy is truly twisted and honestly a little creepy. They immediately launch into a truly bizarre but undeniably awesome magical duel. Instead of just slinging energy blasts, they conjure musical notes as weapons. Imagine a wizard battle set to an orchestral score where every spell is a high-pitched shriek or booming bass note. They lob quarter notes, clefs, and entire musical staffs at each other, blocking attacks with magical shields of sheet music. The cacophony of discordant melodies and percussive magical impacts fills the air, creating a truly unique and memorable fight sequence. It's a visually stunning and audibly captivating clash, showing that even in the darkest corners of the multiverse, there's still room for a little creative flair and some serious magical ass-kicking. Honestly, it's probably the most artistic superhero fight you'll ever see, proving that music really does have power after a truly noteworthy battle. Our Strange manages to get the upper hand on his evil doppelganger. He uses his ingenuity and a bit of environmental awareness, impaling Sinister Strange on a broken fence with a rather satisfying thud. With his dark variant defeated, Strange makes a morally ambiguous choice. He retrieves the Darkhold from Sinister Strange's lifeless grasp. This is the very book that corrupted Wanda, the forbidden text of dark magic. He knows the dangers, he's seen its devastating effects, but America is in Wanda's hands, and desperate times, as they say, call for desperate measures. The book pulses with a sinister energy in his hands, a chilling tactile sensation, hinting at the corrupting power within. Christine watches him with a mixture of fear and concern, understanding the immense risk he's taking. He's crossing the line, walking a tightrope over an abyss of dark magic, all to save America. It's a classic fight fire with fire scenario, but with way more potential for existential dread and a third eye. While Strange is busy wrestling with his evil twin and getting his hands on some Forbidden's literature, Wanda has successfully brought America to Mount Wundagore, the ancient, ominous birthplace of the Darkhold's power. This isn't just any mountain. It's a terrifying nexus of dark magic, pulsing with an almost suffocating energy. Wanda, now supercharged by the mountain's power, has America firmly trapped in a web of crimson energy, her star-shaped portals shimmering uselessly against the overwhelming force. She's moments away from fulfilling her twisted desire, draining America's power to punch her way into a universe where her children exist. America is terrified, struggling against her magical bonds, the air thick with her desperate, silent pleas. The hum of Wanda's building power is almost a physical pressure, a constant reminder of the impending doom. It's a truly bleak moment, the culmination of Wanda's relentless pursuit. And it seems like all hope is lost for our young multiversal traveler. With America trapped and seemingly out of options, Strange reveals his desperate, and frankly, disturbing plan to Christine. He intends to use the Darkhold to dreamwalk into the corpse of Defender Strange, the one we saw die at the very beginning, back in the original universe. It's a forbidden act, a gruesome violation of natural law, but it's the only way he can confront Wanda and save America. Christine is horrified, but seeing his unwavering determination, she reluctantly agrees to help, understanding the impossible choice he's making. She sets up a magical circle, performing the necessary rituals to help him focus. The chamber is quiet, save for the low chanting and the occasional crackle of energy, as Strange prepares for this truly bizarre form of remote control. He looks at Christine, perhaps a variant of the love he lost, one last time, a silent acknowledgement of the terrifying leap he's about to take. It's a testament to his character-driven focus. He'll risk anything, even his own soul, to protect an innocent. A bit extreme, but hey, he's a wizard, not a rule follower. The scene shifts back to the barren, demon-ravaged universe from the opening, focusing on Defender Strange's decaying corpse. Then, with a sudden, grotesque jolt, the body twitches. Strange's consciousness, powered by the Darkhold, enters the deceased variant. The corpse reanimates, glowing with an eerie green spectral energy, its lifeless eyes now filled with determination. But it's not just a zombie. Strange, in his macabre and new form, can now command the very souls of the damned. He gathers them, weaving them into a terrifying, spectral cape that billows behind him, a chilling echo of his iconic cloak of levitation. The whoosh of this ghostly cape is as unsettling as its appearance. He unleashes these spectral forces, creating ethereal platforms and launching ghostly projectiles. It's a truly disturbing sight, but undeniably powerful. He's become a dark, twisted parody of himself, but with a noble purpose. It's a bit of a gross-out moment, but also a clever way to repurpose an early plot point into a desperate, heroic measure. Who knew zombie sorcerers could be so effective? Zombie Strange, powered by the Darkhold and wielding an army of the damned, makes his grand, grotesque entrance at Mount Wundagore. He confronts Wanda, who is moments away from stealing America's power. It's a truly epic showdown, a clash of dark magic against even darker magic, all for the fate of America Chavez. Strange uses his spectral powers, conjuring ghostly chains and a literal cape made of screaming souls to attack Wanda. The sounds of spectral wails mixed with the crackle of Wanda's crimson magic, creating a horrifying symphony of conflict. Wanda, for the first time, seems genuinely taken aback by Strange's drastic new form and his newfound, albeit unsettling, powers. She fights back with furious intensity, but Strange is no longer holding back. He's embracing the darkness, pushing his own limits, all in a desperate attempt to protect the innocent. It's a raw, brutal, and emotionally charged confrontation, a testament to the lengths Strange will go to save someone he believes in, even if it means becoming a literal undead wizard. Talk about a glow-up, or rather, a ghoul-up, amidst the chaos of the zombie sorcerer versus Scarlet witch battle. America Chavez, inspired by Strange's unwavering belief in her, and perhaps by the sheer desperation of the moment, finally, truly, fully masters her powers. She's been struggling with them all movie, but seeing Strange literally sacrificing his soul for her gives her the push she needs. With a surge of raw and tamed energy, her star-shaped portals burst forth, no longer uncontrolled bursts of fear, but deliberate, focused conduits to the multiverse. The sound is less a whoosh and more a triumphant roar of power as she tears open multiple portals, revealing glimpses of countless realities. It's a truly empowering moment, as the hunted becomes the hunter, or at least, the portal opener with agency. She is no longer just a MacGuffin. She's a force to be reckoned with. Her face, once edged with fear, now radiates determination. The tide is slowly, powerfully turning, thanks to a young girl realizing her true potential. You go, America! With her newfound control, America Chavez doesn't just open a random portal. She opens one directly to the universe where Wanda's children, Billy and Tommy, truly exist. It's a direct, heartbreaking confrontation with the very thing Wanda has been fighting, killing, and dreamwalking for. Wanda, for a split second, is overjoyed, stepping through the portal to finally embrace her boys. But the children, seeing the terrifying, blood-soaked Scarlet Witch, recoil in fear. They don't see their loving mother. They see a monstrous witch, driven to madness by her grief. The visceral sound of their cries of fear and their desperate attempts to get away from her shatters Wanda's entire delusion, her carefully constructed justification for her actions. It's a truly gut-wrenching moment, as the ultimate prize she sought turns into her ultimate heartbreak. The air is thick with her despair, a palpable wave of crushed hope. The emotional impact is immense, showing the tragic consequences of her uncontrolled power and corrupted desires. The pure, unadulterated fear in her children's eyes breaks through Wanda's dark-hold-fueled madness. Overcome with grief, shame, and the crushing weight of her horrific actions, Wanda collapses. But in a final, powerful act of redemption, she chooses to fight back against the Darkhold's influence. She unleashes an immense burst of crimson energy, not outwards to destroy, but inwards, specifically targeting Mount Wundagore itself. The mountain, the source of the Darkhold's power and the place where the original spells were carved, begins to crumble. She uses her last ounce of strength to bring down the entire structure, destroying every copy of the Darkhold across the multiverse, effectively purging the universe of its corrupting influence. The roar of the collapsing mountain is deafening, a monumental act of sacrifice. As the debris swallows her, it's implied that the Scarlet Witch, in her tragic glory, perishes. It's a bittersweet ending for her, a final moment of clarity and selflessness, ending her reign of terror and bringing a poignant closure to her character arc. Phew, talk about a dramatic exit. With the multiverse saved for now, Strange returns to his own universe, a little worse for wear, but ultimately alive. America Chavez is now safely training at Kamartaj, honing her powers under Wong's watchful eye, finally finding a home and guidance. As for Strange, well, there's a rather prominent side effect from his Darkhold usage. He's sporting a third eye on his forehead. It's a striking, somewhat unsettling visual, hinting at the lingering corruption and power he now wields. He closes it for a moment, implying he has some control over it, but it's a clear indication that his journey through the multiverse of madness has left an indelible mark, a permanent alteration. He's no longer just a master of the mystic arts. He's something more, something different. The faint, almost imperceptible throb of the third eye is a constant reminder of the lines he crossed and the power he gained. And honestly, who needs sleep when you've got extra ocular capabilities, right? Just means he'll spot those rogue parking tickets even faster, and just when you thought the madness was over, the post-credits scene throws another curveball. Strange strolling down a bustling New York street, seemingly back to his normal, slightly arrogant self, is suddenly confronted by a mysterious, powerful sorceress named Clear. She appears out of nowhere, her eyes burning with a regal intensity. She wastes no time with pleasantries, dramatically tearing open a jagged, purple portal to the dark dimension, yes, the same one Dormammu hails from, and declares that Strange's help is needed. She beckons him, demanding he join her to fix an incursion he supposedly caused. Strange, ever the hero, and perhaps a little intrigued by this new, formidable woman, opens his newly acquired third eye and confidently steps into the portal with her. It's a tantalizing tease for future adventures, promising even more multiversal mayhem and perhaps a new, powerful ally, or rival. And just like that, the cycle of saving existence begins anew, because apparently, being Doctor Strange means never truly getting a day off. This movie truly takes us on a journey, exploring the depths of grief, the dangers of unchecked power, and the profound impact of choices across an infinite tapestry of realities.